before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you know when we upload. Welcome to Rugby Heads, powered by the Pig Athletic Club, where we cover all things in the world of rugby. My name is Sione, and joining me are our ring-in rugby nerds, Dave Vere from the Randwick Rugby Club in Sydney, and Tino Masese from... Actually, Tino, what rugby club are you from, mate? You keep changing.
I'm from the MOANA Reds.
MOANA Reds, okay. Remix from Tino from the MOANA Reds. Welcome, boys, welcome.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks for calling in. All the other boys all called in sick. They must be having a get-together and I didn't get the invite, so we'll play on. Now, if this is your first time joining us, or if you're regular here and you haven't done so yet, please show your support by hitting that like and subscribe button, and get in the comments and tell us your thoughts on Super Rugby Round 10 and also your game predictions for the weekend coming up. Now, quickly a rundown of today's show. Try or no try, something during the weekend that was play on or offside, and then we go and show love to our top performers of the week before we quickly debrief the action from Round 10, Super Rugby Round 10, before we preview and give you our multi for this coming weekend and finish off with viewers' question. Now, Tino, since it's your debut here, Dave's already got one cap on Rugby Heads. Your debut, you can kick us off. Try or no try? Start with your try.
So my try goes out to Benny Rawai from the Drua. After they had a good win over the Tars, the Fijian hydration came out in those buckets and had the Carver Bowl. And it was giving it out to the boys post game. Literally, the whistle went off and the two buckets of cover came on the field, and there he is scooping it up, giving the Tars a bit of a taste of their medicine.
Oh, no wonder why the Tars didn't stick around. They were sleepy. Good try. And Dave?
Yeah, my tries besides my three more tries and yet still lost on the weekend, was an actual try I saw on the weekend from the Northern Hemisphere. Is it Ravovo for Bath? The tackle flick pass out the back down to the wing. Whew, that was definitely a try, that one. Yeah, I thought there was some good Fijian flair up in the Northern Hemisphere rugby. So yeah, that's my try for the week.
My try goes to, I know he called in sick today. He's doing a bit of family time there over in Fiji. Our big superstar, Nemani Nandolo, he's announced as the first undisputed Run It special feature match against George Burgess. It's a League versus Union Run It celebrity death match.
Oh, God.
Before we carry on, who do you boys think's going to win?
Oh, mate, there's no stopping the freight train. You can't stop. You can't stop Nemani in his prime and in his Optimus prime. You can't stop it.
Yeah. So I only will go with big names, not by bias in rugby union, just the pure law of gravity and physics and biology. He's got a bit of speed behind him more than good old George. Yeah. So I think the speed plus weight equals mass will names would come up on top.
Yeah. So I think it might be a bit of a close one, because I don't recall any tackles in Nem's highlights. So we'll see how that one's going to go. So yeah, make sure you get out on April 30th down in Melbourne. So I'll be sure to try and sneak out. Yeah. So hopefully Nem's been working on his 10 meters fitness, so we can make it to the other side. So good luck, big Nems. Now, no try. Tino, kick us off. What's your no try for the week?
Look, I think it's a little bit over the top, the way that Randwick beat the Colts team from Japan over the weekend. Scoring last minute. I mean, it was an amazing try, don't get me wrong, but the way they celebrated was a no try for me. They beat a Colts team. They basically beat a Colts team from Japan. Look, no hate to Japan and the way Randwick came out, but I just thought that was a no try. He celebrated like he won the shoot shield again.
Whoa.
Mate, I think this is what happens when you don't actually have a club, so you don't know how to celebrate something that means a lot. So I don't blame you, Tina.
Oh, mate, that was good. It looked like you treated it like it was a Saturday on Tuesday after.
Yeah, absolutely. We it was I might say it's my claim to fame to dethroning the actual king of Coogee, Simon Poitevin. I've got one more international cap at Coogee Oval than he does, so he's got one against the All Blacks, and I've got two, one against Argentina and the Colts team from Japan, as Tina likes to call it. Still an international cap, brother.
Nice. And before we get to yours, Dave, I just wanted to see, we got sent in a few photos of you with straight after the end of the match. You had ordered Uber Eats, and you had some nice smoko right after the game. How did that come about?
Oh, it's part of my game routine superstition for the next week's recovery and whatnot. So I've got to jump on a double chocolate croissant, extra butter.
Oh, mate. I thought Mad Monday was crazy. Your Shall We Tuesday is just it's unbelievable, mate.
No,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Anyways, what's your no try, Dave?
My no try was actually the Colts team that Tino's been referring to from Japan. We all agreed there's no penalty kicks, just all out running rugby shootout, and 30 seconds left on the clock. Eddie's under 23 Colts had a penalty, about 30 out, probably 5 meters to right of the post. Get the fucking tee out! Get the tee out! So they've decided to go for a 3-point penalty goal. And if they kick that, so I was Scram's captain at the last minute, only because to have time to kick off if they do it. So the ref said yes, and I said, okay, that's all right. In my head, I'm like, they're going to kick this. We'll just try and get the ball back and see if we can score a try. The bloke unfortunately misses it, and we had a 22 dropout. We gave it to the best player on the field, Christian Yasmin. Shame he didn't get the short dropout memo, so he's dropped it out straight back to the Japanese bloke. But luckily, he redeemed himself in scoring that winning try at the end. But my scrams was agreed to be a try-scoring shootout, and Eddie trying to kick a penalty goal at the last minute.
Lucky karma, you got him in the end there. So very nice. And a bit of karma came my way. I don't know why. On the weekend, had a bit of drama on the pack Instagrams. I've been toiling away, trying to help, with the content, hype up the women's rugby. And on the weekend, the no tries myself, I nominate before I carry on with this story. Last weekend marked the end of the women's rugby Super Rugby competition, which marks the beginning of Four Nation Series, which starts in a few weeks, which is the Canada, USA, Australia and New Zealand in the women's, and I thought and help hype up the competition. So I thought I'd put up a tile and remind everyone that Canada won. So I went into the AI machine and just typed in, get the Canadian women's rugby captain. And my reference picture was a coach from the EPL who won 2, I think, Champions Leagues or something. And he was smoking. He was smoking and on the plane, and he had 2 trophies next to him. And I just said, make it the women's captain from Canada. And instead of a cigarette, I said a vape. And I said, and then I photoshopped in the Pac 4 trophy in it, and I posted it. I'm like, my job's done for the week, helping hype up women's rugby. Next minute, ding, 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 ding. Take it down, delete this. This is not it. What is this? From the Canadian rugby players. And then I thought, what did I do wrong? I thought, well, is she injured? Is the captain injured? I'm like, because I made sure I checked before I used the. It turns out that they were offended by the vape. So the girl smoking on the vape. So quickly took it down, and I still don't understand why they're offended by that vape. But hey, I put my hands up. I didn't read the room. Maybe it's just a different generator. I just see my mate Dave on a vape every second. That's where I got my reference from. So I'm sorry, Canadian women's and anyone that was offended by the vape. I still don't understand it. But if anyone in the comments, please tell me why it's so bad that someone's on a vape. But yeah, sorry about that, and no try for myself. Held up.
No try. Yeah. No try.
So yeah,
that was bad influence right there.
Yeah, that was my try. That was our try, no try. If you got one, make sure you put them in the comments. Okay, now let's show some love. Top performer of the week, Tino. Who stood out for you over the weekend's play?
Oh, mate, there was a lot, but I thought that Damien McKenzie came back after a terrible week last week against the Tars. I think he showed up this week trying to prove the point that he's still D-Mac, the smiling assassin. And that's my performer of the week.
Oh, yeah, he was back all right. And Dave, who stood out for you?
My standout player for the weekend was Burton Barrett. I thought he played pretty well on the weekend. I still don't know if he's a 10 or 15, but anyway he plays, he's actually played pretty well for the Blues on the weekend, and they won, didn't they?
Nah, you probably fell asleep halfway, mate. So, thank you, Dave. You must have been watching last week. You must be watching last week.
In a losing side, he played very well, all right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. He played all right. But yeah. My one is Semisi Tupo Taylor, number 8 for Moana Pacifica. 17 tough carries in wet conditions, 13 tackles, no misses, and 2 turnover wins. They didn't have Ari Savea, so it looked like he was putting his hand up to put in the work. And I had to give a special mention to the Crusaders tight head prop, Fletcher Newell, 80 minutes, 13 tackles,
80, I saw that,
and 15 solid scrums, including that last one where pretty much won them the game. So shout out to the boys. Now, we're not going to go through every game. We're going to just go through 1 or 2 takeaways from the weekend. Tino, what was your takeaway from the weekend's play?
There's a few underrated players here. I'll just mention two players. Is Logan Missy from Drua, the winger.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he played outstanding. Yeah. And another bolter for me is Leroy Carter.
I
thought the way they came in the second half and just lighted that fire, I thought he was phenomenal. And that's my takeaways from that round.
So Tino's takeaways, 2 standout wingers, I think the question was actually later. Our viewers' question was about bolters, so we'll get to that later. Dave, what were your takeaways from last round, if you remember, or you're thinking the round before?
Yeah. No actual dumpling takeaways, but my actual takeaways is 5/8 or number 10s, aged like fine wine. I think James O'Connor ran back the clock on the weekend. He came in second off the bench, and I thought he closed out that game pretty well, and to even kick the last penalty at the end.
Yeah.
But his involvement in that last sort of second half of that game, everything he was involved with was pretty positive.
Yeah.
So looking at all the 10s that are leaving Australian rugby, there's that bloke playing across the ditch. So I don't know what all of his qualification is, if you can qualify from across the ditch.
Yeah.
But I thought James O'Connor as a 10 was a pretty good takeaway from last weekend. They go as more maturity they get, the better they are as players, and yeah, so that's my takeaway.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway, and it's exactly the same as mine, but I've got a bit of extra. So you got a bit of extra sides to the takeaway. I had James O'Connor needs to be in the Wallabies along with Bernard Foley. I think with Noah leaving, it was the chance for everyone else to sort of step up and take that 10 jersey. And I don't think anyone did other than James O'Connor, and we all know what Bernard Foley can do. So I don't think the young 10s putting their hand up at the moment, and that's why I think James O'Connor and Bernard Foley need to be there or thereabouts, especially just for the Lions at least, because we need to win. We need to win.
Yeah, is Bernard Foley on that Giddo law? Is he eligible that way?
Yeah, because he came last time. When Rennie picked him?
Yeah. Melbourne, yeah.
Missed the kick.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah. Hey, don't come in on my takeaway, mate. Your takeaways. So, yeah, that was our takeaways from round 10. If you got any, drop them down in the comments. Now, hopefully you guys are a good luck charm. We haven't hit a multi this year. We got close once, and we missed by 2. Now, we're starting off with the Chiefs versus Force on the Friday. Dave, who do you think's going to win, and what's the margin?
Yeah, I think that's a Chiefs home game, that one.
Yeah, at the Trump.
Yeah. So I think big week for Force. They played late Easter. They got to travel across entire Australia before even getting to New Zealand. Chiefs come back from a pretty disappointing week in Sydney and gone back home, had a convincing win on the weekend. So I think the Chiefs against the Force this Friday. By 1-12.
Oh, 1-12. You've been kind. Tino, are we backing Dave, or are you going to change your margin?
Look, I'm liking the Force. I thought they've been underrated all year this year. They got Tizano. Tizano's playing phenomenal. Yeah. And I think if the Force have a chance to win and to prove themselves for the second round of the Super Rugby, I reckon they'll do it 1-12.
Ooh.
Might be a penalty. That sealed some that 13 for the He's if there's a, I know he's not Australian, is he?
No, Samoan, Kiwi.
Nah.
So
Look,
you actually think Force are going to do it? Okay, I'm actually going to go Chiefs 13 plus. I think it's going to be a big win. They're at the Tron. They prove that when they play at home, they are danger. So I'm going to go 13 plus, and we're going to have to meet in the middle here and go with Dave's bet with the Chiefs 1-12. So we'll lock in Chiefs 1-12 in that first game on the Friday. Now, second game, Tino, your beloved Reds hosting the Blues.
Yes.
Who do you think's going to win, and what's the margin?
Look, I think the Blues are coming out to prove something, but I think the Reds will be too strong at the end. 1-12.
Okay. 1-12. Come on, Dave. Are you backing Tino, or are you gonna?
I think I agree. I agree with Tino. I think the Blues hasn't been consistent enough this year to warrant a one against. I think the Reds had played better than the Blues throughout the year, so they had an off week last week against the Brumbies, but teams are always better when they have a loss to come back the next week pretty strong. So I do agree that the Reds 1-12.
Yep, I'm with you, boys. So we're all on this one. So we're going to go Reds 1-12. Blues have been playing well, but I think the Reds, Les Kiss is going to get him firing after the disappointment last weekend. So lock in the Reds 1-12 on that second game on the Friday. Now, first game on the Saturday. This should be game of the round. I know they're the two bottom at the moment on the ladder, but MOANA hosting Drua in New Zealand. Dave, who are you going for, and what's the margin?
Mate, before I tell you who I go for, I think this is one of the games where you kind of circle at the start of the season that you want to watch. MOANA draw, and I don't know why they haven't played. They're not in the draw for 2 games because everyone else is. But I think this would be a cracking game on the weekend, so must watch. It'll be, I think, in terms of the results, I'm really torn on this one. Really want MOANA to get up, but after seeing what Drua did last week, the dangerous thing about the Drua is once they get their set piece right, they're pretty playing on front football and big carriers. So if they do that again this week, I think they'll get the chocolates. So the way Drua played last week, I think Drua 13 plus.
You're crazy, man. Okay, Tino.
I am. MOANA Reds over there.
If Pellegrini is back and Artie's back and they're fit, and I think MOANA 1-12. I reckon they can. If they beat Drua this week, they will. Look, they're only 3 points behind the Hurricanes on the table, and they'll put them into 7th position. So if I'm liking the odds of MOANA, another upset this year, and I think they'll go 1-12 against Drua at home.
Yeah, I think MOANA should be favourites for this. I had a bit of a hiccup the last 2 weeks. Obviously, I think they need Artie back. They were a bit lost on the weekend, but yeah, it's. I actually think MOANA might actually have a big win, but we're going to go with Tino's meet in the middle here. So we go MOANA 1-12 in that first game on the Saturday. Now, Landers hosting.
And sorry to interrupt. Shout out to all our whānaus out there. Now you finish a long weekend at Visa. It's another long weekend. Make sure you get out there and support the boys, both the Drua and MOANA Pacifica home game. It's a home game for both, I say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Whatever you say,
it's
mate.
the test of the Pacific this week.
Yeah.
So get out and support them. I believe they'll be at North Harbour Stadium. Now, over in Dunners, the Battle of the Farmers, Highlanders and Crusaders. Crusaders are flying high lately. Tino, who are we going for, and what's the margin?
Look, I don't see the Crusaders losing their streak. I'm going 13 plus Crusaders, only because I need the Highlanders to lose for MOANA to move up.
Hey, that's not meant to be.
I'm just saying.
To be fair to Tino's point, that bottom half of the table, those 4 teams are all within 3 points.
Yeah.
You got MOANA, you got Drua, MOANA, Highlanders, and the Blues.
This
Those two
calculation,
lose.
we should be trying to calculate who's going to win, not who we want to help Moana get up in the ladder.
Hey, we might see a MOANA final here.
Okay, mate. So we're going to go. Tino reckons Crusaders 13 plus. Dave?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Tino's Crusaders 13 plus. Yeah, I think they're starting to click. I know they had a inconsistent start to the season, but I think the last fortnight or 3 weeks has shown probably what they've been trying to do. So they've been able to grind out game and then finish them really strongly. So with Tino on this one, 13 plus to Crusaders, and to that also, Landers has probably haven't been as consistent as what they would have liked. So they tend to play well and not too well in patches.
Yeah. Okay. That's makes a bit more sense than Tino's explanation of wanting Moana to go up in the ladder. I actually ride this one with you boys, so we'll go lock in Crusaders 13 plus. I think the Landers have been missing Tangitau. He's been out. He's been missing for a few weeks, and their scrum was a bit scratchy without Ethan de Groot, and we all know the Crusaders scrum is ons.
Look, the Highlanders they've been playing awesome. It's just the second half, and then one thing leads into another. They kind of crumble in those times. So nothing against Highlanders, but it's just I think Crusaders will be too strong this round.
Okay, we're going to lock
just
in.
Shout out to Kelepi Tangitau. Miss you on my fantasy team, mate.
Yeah. My fantasy. Don't need to talk about it. Okay, so we're locking in Crusaders 13 plus, and then the last game, Brumbies hosting the Hurricanes. Tino, who are we going for, and what's the margin?
I'm going Brumbies 1-12. I think Brumbies will prove they're too strong at home, but I also think that the Hurricanes are not far off, and they're big time contenders. But I do believe that the Brumbies are far too strong at the moment, and I'll probably see them 1-12 at home.
Okay. Dave, are you going that same margin or?
Yeah, I am also the same as Tino. I think this is a flip the coin type game. It could be 1-12 Canes or 1-12 Brums, but my Australian allegiance is leading towards the Brums 1-12.
Okay, yeah. Well, Brumbies proved to me that on the weekend that they're back and they know how to win. The Brumbies way, and it works. So, we're going to lock in the Brumbies 1-12. Did you say, boys? Say?
Yep.
So lock in the Brumbies 1-12, and be sure to lock those locks in and join and play along with us. But remember, bet responsibly. Unlike Dave in the pocket room at 3 a.m. in the morning, bet responsibly and just a sneaky $5 or a $10 just for a bit of fun. Okay, mate. Now, Dave, you mentioned fantasy. Quick little fantasy update. How your guys' fantasy team's going? I'm already out of hope of making the top 6 in the finals. Dave, how's your team going? And who'd you play on the weekend?
Mate, I played Fonz on the weekend, actually. Was it Fonz? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Growflex.
Yes, I did have a disappointing outing, but I've had a pretty consistent month. I've slowly snuck my way into the top 6 without anyone noticing. But last week I had an off week, I must say. But thanks to DMAC, came back last week with a good result. The other shout out of my team was Leroy Carter has been performing pretty well for my fantasy team. The likes of David Havili as well, which I don't know if it's a glitch. You can actually pick him on inside backs as well. So
thanks for the tip, mate.
Yeah,
thank you.
And so, sorry, not Dave, William Havili.
Oh, yeah.
The brother for Moana. So,
he did good and he didn't play. Oh, it must be nice.
Yeah. So, no, but I still lost. So my fantasy team has had a slow start, had a good month last month, but had a off week this week. But, hey, we're in the second half, still plenty of footy to be played.
Yeah, mate. Top 6. You only got 3 weeks to make the top 6, and then he goes into the final. So good luck, mate. Tino, have you got any hope in making the top 6, or are you in there?
Yeah, I've been top 4 for the last 5 weeks.
Okay, mate.
6 weeks. Look, I didn't start the season strong. I came off with two losses, and I'm going to keep the streak going, hopefully, and 6 in a row.
Oh, let's go, boys. Mate, must be nice. I started the season really well. I was in the top I think for a while, and then not for a while, for about 2 weeks, and then now I'm down the bottom. I don't know how I'm on the same points as Faus, and he hasn't even checked his team since the start of the season. So, mate, prayers up for Gators. Let's hope we don't get relegated, and Chris doesn't beat me on his off week. So, yeah, that was our quick little fantasy update, proudly brought to you by Grail Flex. Now, viewers' questions. We've got two. First one. We've just passed the halfway point of Super Rugby. Who are your Wallabies and All Blacks bolters as of now? Tino, kick us off. Who are your bolters? You already named one before.
Yeah, Leroy Carter. I think someone who's going to earn his spot, and I think his prime is Ruben Love from the Hurricanes. And look, I don't want him to be a one-cap wonder too, but I think we should give to Mossy
Tava Nawe.
Tava.
Yeah, Tava Nawe. I mean, he's been playing like an awesome at 12. If he doesn't get onto the squad, you know. But I hope.
What do you pick him as? Is it 12 or a wing? Just outside back?
I'll pick him as a 12.
Yeah, so you've got Geordie, David Havili. Who else is that 12 in that 12 position?
Brown.
Oh,
Leonard Brown.
Yeah, Leonard Brown. Oh, man, that's a hard one.
Quinton Byers been playing well also.
Yeah.
But listen, like him, I only put him in. So if France bring in their team that they're going to have a test against to play the All Blacks, I think that's a blooding game for the All Blacks. They're not really going to play their top AB's team. But I was just thinking of if they were smart, wanted to blood some players, that would be the game to do it.
Yeah, he deserves it too. Dave, who are your bolters? All Blacks. Have you got any All Blacks bolters? We'll start with All Blacks.
Yes, I've actually got two. If you can come back, I think Caleb Dangidale has been lighting up the outside backs the first couple of rounds of super season. He's rapid, he's physical for a winger, makes his tackles. And not surprisingly, very good over the ball as a outside back defender. It's not many you find outside backs that are good over the ball like him and Leroy Carter. I think credit to their sevens background. So that's my first one is Caleb Dangidale, and my second one, which I think is a bloke being unlucky. He's been behind Blackadder for the last couple of years, but I think Cullen Grace for the Crusaders at back row has been playing well, and I think he has been playing well for the last sort of couple of super seasons. As another back row, I know they're always spoiled for choice in back row, but I wouldn't mind seeing that guy in the All Black setup, and not only what that does to his development as a rugby player, but I think he's got the makings to make a good All Black. Cullen Grace.
Yeah, mate, he's a good player and plays well injured as well. That's a good shout, Cullen Grace. I've gone with Tino Leroy Carter. He's just a different sort of winger that than the All Blacks are used to. I think he's more like the Cheston Colby, and he's got that dog in him for a little pint size. And we know how long with that sevens background he can go for ages. So yeah, Leroy Carter was mine. Wallabies, Tino, who are you? Any shouts for Wallaby bolters?
Look, I've got one. I think he's been outstanding for the Waratahs, and that's Tristan O'Reilly.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the players have either capped that have been playing really well, like one cap. So it's pretty hard to pick Wallabies bolters, but my standout this year would be Tristan. My surprise one, I'm hoping he gets a cap before he retires, is Andy Muirhead.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Christian Yasmin.
Who?
Christian Yasmin. I thought you were going to say Christian Yasmin. But yeah, Muirhead, he's been playing well, eh?
Man, like he's been so consistent over the years. If he doesn't get a chance to play in the Lions tour, he's my other bolter. But what would you call him if he's not so young anymore?
No, they're still bolters if they haven't. Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
They'll be screwdrivers.
No, who's your screwdriver, Dave? Mate, who's your Wallaby screwdriver?
No, I must echo what Tino said. Tristan Riley is actually has been playing really well, not only this year, but at an underperforming TARS team last year. For a bloke that was there and went to league and came back, I thought he was the most consistent back at the TARS last year, and he's carried it on to this year, even though he wasn't picked to start with in the year, but he's come out playing really well towards the back half. So I do agree with Tina on that. My other bolter, which I'm not sure if he has been involved or not in the Wallaby setup, is Charlie Cale from the Brums.
Oh, yeah. He was in camp last year,
I'm
but
not
didn't play.
Oh, he was. Okay, so I'm not sure what the injury is around Wilso and McWright, but they seem to be playing through injury. But it'd be nice to have him in the setup and make a little. I look at that bloke. He reminds me of Benny Moen when he played for the Wallabies.
True.
Benny Moen played against the Lions when they toured here. So I wouldn't mind him in camp. Anything happens at a series. So if he gets a cap, that's a depth worth investing in. And So Charlie Cale's my Wallaby bolter for this year, Lion series.
Good shout. Mine was Sydney Uni old boy, Nick Champion de Crepney. Man, he's been impressive and his work rate is unreal. He's had the size for a while now. I think going over to France and learning more about his position in sort of that environment and coming back, I think he should be in that sort of environment because we need big bodies. We need big bodies in the Wallabies, and he's one of those players. And I think he can also cover 7 if we need one of those big horses in that position. So shout out to Western Forces Nick Champion de Crepney. Okay,
is Charlie Campbell eligible this year? How long do we have to wait?
No, he's been eligible because he was in camp with Rennie.
No, he got a tahi, man.
Surely, mate. Surely, mate. Okay, now last question was sent in last night in our DMs. NRL, they're sort of floating the idea of having a franchise in Hawaii. Should we beat them to it and move Moana Pacifica to Hawaii? 6-hour flight, direct flight from Sydney. Shorter flight from New Zealand, only a bit longer for Force. They'll have to sort of stop over 12-hour commute. Should Moana move to USA?
My personal opinion, to play in the Super Rugby, probably not. Geographically doesn't work because if you move to Hawaii, you need to be playing their time zone for any interest. But if you want to move there, you might as well play in the MLR comp. I'm no business case, but I don't know what the business case looks like, but I don't think it's a reasonable investment to do a Moana Pacifica team there. I think where Moana Pacifica is at the moment is probably your best bet. That's how, because rugby league's taking over Auckland anyway, so if you're going to make a footprint in a spot, probably Auckland's a more suitable one because that's how you capture the talent there within. You're creating another pathway for kids to be able to play professional rugby in an area that it's already strong and proven to be a rugby union heartland. Because I'm always in the view of why go somewhere that you're not good at, where you can strengthen where your currently base is, and if that's got no further growth in it, then you go look for growth elsewhere rather than doing your rugby heartland half-hearted and then you go somewhere else and before you know it, everyone's playing rugby league in Auckland. So I think Moana can stay in Auckland and capture all that market and we should be right. They can have Hawaii. That would be the dumbest thing you ever do.
Well, I don't know the dumbest thing, but Tino, you agree with Dave?
Yeah, I totally agree. Hawaii is one of the most expensive states in America. And not only that, you see the Pro Bowl, the NFL Pro Bowl, they've left Hawaii just because, the locals don't really attend it as much. And if they wanted to move a Moana there, I reckon why not play a test, have a few games over there, Super Rugby games, see the interest, maybe grow it a little bit, have a pathway for local Hawaiians for a franchise to then. It doesn't have to be Moana, but, I think there has to be a lot of homework before you can move a team to Hawaii and break that market of, you even watch the Warriors over there, the University of Hawaii. You see the fans, like it's not really as big as it was, only because of the economy these days and Hawaii being so expensive.
Mate, good point. Good point, boys. And I was probably moving in a dream world. It'll be cool.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
In saying that, I just think Hawaii is not an appropriate market for Super Rugby. Hawaii definitely is an appropriate market for the MLR because of the investment in rugby union in America. So I think from that point of view, it can still work that way. So if we get the Rock involved or something, and you try and build a Moana Pacifica version in the MLR competition, then you can use Hawaii as a base for it, or as that's their team.
Yeah.
That'll, in my view, that's probably a more reasonable way to approach it than trying to put them into Super Rugby.
Yeah. Well said, boys. I sort of agree. I think Tino brought up a good point of maybe one exhibition match for Moana over there. Probably have to do it probably before or after a bye week, and same with whoever they take over to play over there. Because I like to read the comments on both YouTube and in Instagram, and I've seen a lot of followers are from America and asking for them to sort of try and get a game over there. And I know they've got a sort of big Polynesian base over in LA, in Cali, and also Salt Lake City. So it could be something they could probably, in a few years, maybe when they have a bit more manis, to sort of invest in trying to get a game over there, or maybe they could make some money taking a game over there.
I think that the next step for Super Rugby is to join the Investec Championship. So the European League, the Champions League.
Yeah, but you want them to join the sort of like a world...
URC Investec.
Do you mean like that world club thing that they're sort of...
Yeah, like a UEFA kind of thing of soccer, but rugby.
Yeah, I think they're working on that World Cup for clubs. Is sort of what they've been sort of saying they're planning for the future. So, we'll leave that for another question for another week. But, boys, thanks for stepping in. Might be full-time if the other boys are going to still have sickies. You guys did well. Nice little rugby nerds. But before we let you guys go, show some love to whoever or whatever. Dave, what was your shout-out for the week?
Okay, my shout-outs for the week, very biased one. It is the good old Battle of the East this coming weekend. East versus Randwick down at Coogee Oval for the Anzac Day clash. It's always a very good day. Both clubs hate each other. All players hate each other. Very good rivalry to get around. So that's this coming weekend. So that's my shout out. Make sure you all get around, support your teams. And I've got one last shout out is a bloke called Max Curtis. I don't know if you recall, he was the English kid that made the TikTok about I'll go play some rugby in Sydney. Play fourth grade and had NEMS running over him for Norse. He's also got involved with the Indian rugby with training local kids, providing training programs for them, and that Sevens program that's launching in India could be the next IPL league for rugby union. I think it's definitely got potential if they can get the Indians around rugby. We know how much they love their sport and cricket, and there's that Sevens comp that they've signed a few big names on it, and not old big names, like current big names, that because of the Sevens series now being short. I think anything that puts any energy into rugby is worth showing some love to. So shout out to that competition and Max and those guys for the good work they do and spreading the love via rugby. So that's my shout out for this week.
Good shout. We'll have to definitely get involved with the league. I think it's only for 2 weeks. We should try and cover the Indian League. I know back in the Commonwealth Games, back when he was in India, they almost beat Tonga. So they've got some talent there. And I don't know if you boys have seen or aware of, what's the sport they call it? Kabaddi? They've got some big boys that will do well in rugby. So big things coming over in India, and hopefully they got some big things coming to Rugby Heads to sponsor. Thank you, Gino. Is your shout out for the week?
Look, I know it's Anzac week this week, so it's my shout out to them, all the Anzacs that fought for this great country, Australia and New Zealand, in the war, and for our current military personnel. So, guys, that's my shout out.
Good shout. And shout out to everyone still listening to this pod with the ring-ins. No, we don't have big names like Josh Tukiri and Nems, but boys, thanks for coming on. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Let's go.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for the good work. Love your work.
Very good, Donix.
Yeah, thanks for the B team. The B team.
B team.